Right, so this Need for Speed junket, I know it's a really big deal. We're gonna have people there. Yeah, I know it's interviews. I'll try to get someone. What time? Alright. There's gotta be someone here who knows a lot about her. We'll have someone, it'll be good. Don't worry about it, I'll get someone. Alright. Hey, Philip.
Yeah.
Newsboy extraordinaire. I've got the news event for you.
Okay, let's...
EA, it's a Need for Speed junket. We have an exclusive interview with the starlet who's attached to the game. She's pretty famous. Maggie Q.
That doesn't really sound like news, I don't know. That...
You know, she's the face of the game. She's a famous actress.
Sounds kind of like a
hot.
puff piece. We don't really do that here.
I mean, it's not the most investigative thing, but you don't have time? Come on, dude.
I don't really... ask Nick. He's into that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
You think? Nick.
Yeah.
Please tell me you can help me out.
With what?
You need someone to interview. The celebrity tonight at the EA Need for Speed event. It's a big deal.
Who?
She's an actress, Maggie Q.
I don't know who that is.
She's been in a few movies, you know, Hollywood.
You know, I don't know your Western celebrities.
You don't watch movies.
No, Anthony.
You're not even from America, are you? Chuff. You are the last hope. You always say yes. You're such a good guy. I know you love celebrities, you love racing games. Tell me you can come interview this EA, spokesmodel tonight.
Who?
Maggie Q.
Maggie who?
Maggie Q.
Maggie who?
Maggie Q. Q.
Maggie who?
Q. Maggie Q. Maggie Q.
And this one right here.
Hey ho.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Maybe you can help me out. Can you do this interview? Nobody can do this interview.
Who do you need interviewed?
It's like this Maggie Q.
Maggie fucking
Whoa.
Q?
You know?
Dude, I love
Wait,
Maggie Q.
You know who that is?
Hell yeah, we know who Maggie Q is. Let's fucking do it, man. She is amazing.
Wow.
Where have you
I would-
been?
I would die to interview her.
Awesome. Okay, get ready. Get
Okay.
yourself kind of in presentable condition, and you shouldn't be wearing this.
No, I won't be wearing this.
Okay.
But, wait, who are we interviewing again?
Maggie Q.
Wait, who is she?
I don't know.
I thought you knew.
Need for Speed.
That's cool. I'll do it.
「仕事へ行きたくない」「学校なんかつまんない」「みんなで一緒にテレビゲーム遊びたい」「遊びたい」「どこでも行っても同じだ」「みんなで歌を歌うんだ」「みんなで一緒にテレビゲーム遊んだらどうだら」「ワンアップショーを見ましょう」One up show de asobo One up show Wow すごい One up show やったよこれはワンアップショーです
Hey Ray Barnold, could you help me out here?
Sure, Shane.
I'm having some trouble penetrating the 7 separate societies of Dr. Wily and preserving the human race. Could you help me out? I'm having trouble with these robot monsters. How do I beat them?
Alright, well, who are you stuck with now?
The sexy and seductive Splash Woman.
Okay.
Her siren song is leading me to ruin.
Calm down, let's just figure it out.
Did you do the illustrations for Mega Man 9 like you did in the original?
一応ボスキャラクターに関しては、2体担当しました。フラグマンっていうボスと、スプラッシュウーマンっていうボスキャラクターを。
How come Splash Woman? Oh, these graphics in this game. Ugh. Like, really? What part of the graphics do you like? Could you explain that to me?
I like the fact that the graphics don't get in the way of the gameplay. If you played Mega Man 7, Mega Man 8, the animation actually got in the way of the gameplay. It was less precise, it was less quick-paced, it didn't feel like Mega Man. And this, by taking away all that extra, then you get back to just what old-school Mega Man was. And I really do think the graphics are essential to that. I think it builds on the foundation of Mega Man 2 and incorporates a lot of tricks that the developers at Inta Creates, who have been working with Mega Man since like Mega Man X2. So you have a lot more just kind of design sophistication within the game.
メガマンに関して言うといろんなユーザーとか、プレスの方々から、作ってほしいとかっていうその要望っていうかねすごく希望されてることっていうのが多かったんだけどどうしても作りたいけどそれをビジネスとして考えていくとやっぱりビジネスになりにくかったりとか人気がないわけじゃなくてそれを例えば、レジェンド・イーブルとデビル・メイク・ライと同じハードで同じクオリティでメガマンを出すっていうことに関して言うとなかなか難しかったりするんでねどうして作っていけばいいのかなって考えてるところでやっぱりこういうダウンロードで、出せるコンテンツがあるっていう風になってきてるんでそれに対して、チャンスかなと思って。
These graphics just look very Spartan, very bare, and once you get used to that, you can appreciate the level design, the complexity, and the gameplay.
And of course, all that really matters in a game is how it looks, right?
Well, you know, I do have expectations that 20 years after a series, they can at least look as good as the good ones back then. And it doesn't have a lot of the gameplay innovations of later Mega Man.
I think you need to put Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 9 side by side. I think you'd be surprised by how similar they are. Mega Man 2 actually had much less visually exciting graphics than you remember. You remember the dragon, you remember the Guts tank, you remember the spinning gears in Metal Man stage, but what you don't remember is the solid wall of blue that was Crash Man's background.
The average Joe, I think they're going to be obliterated by the difficulty and not that impressed by the graphics.
Why is that bad? What's wrong with making games for hardcore gamers? Why does everything have to be Nintendo? Boil it down to the average and make it palatable to your mom.
I think
this is not a game for your mom, Shane. This is a game for us.
Imagine this. Okay, imagine this. On a basic level, it does work. It is fun, and the music is great. That's like probably the best thing about this game, I think, is
the music.
I love the music.
I actually am not completely satisfied with the music. I would have been happy if there's like at least two or three good tracks, but like that's I don't know. That'd be a stretch for me.
To me, like the soundtrack is kind of a disappointment. It's a miss. It's more like Mega Man 4, Mega Man 5, where it's like, yeah, there's music there. It's 8-bit, but I don't remember any of it. As opposed to Mega Man 2, 3, even 6. All of those had really great music.
Yeah.
Where would you like rank this game in terms of like all the classic NES ones?
I feel like it's in some ways it is a better game than Mega Man 2 because it does have more sophisticated design, like level design.
Gosh, I guess. Well, it's not better than 2. I'll say that. I don't know. My frame of reference is basically 2 and 3, so it's basically the ones that I grew up on. It's better than 4. I'll say that.
I like it on par with Mega Man 1 and maybe a little more than 4. I haven't really played 5 and 6. It's definitely not as good as 2 and 3. I would like another one. Another one, please. Another one in a 16-bit style.
No, I would like another one in a few years. Everything that ruined the NES series, let's avoid that. Let's not just churn this out like a factory. Let's stop and think about each sequel and make each one this good.
This is a special jewel.
Exactly.
This is a very special thing that will only happen once in a millennium.
What's up, Greg? Oh, big fun on the run. What's going on, David?
How's it going?
I'm doing well. Just reading this fine Resistance 2 preview.
I know. Gotta do the interview later.
Yeah.
This one definitely seems like a significant improvement over the first game.
But yeah, so the biggest thing is probably co-op. You know, that's the 8-player co-op. You know, last time was just like this generic like 2-player thing where like they kind of threw this other guy into the
right. He wasn't part of the story. He was just shoehorned in.
We didn't see any of the story, but they say it's gonna like tie in slightly.
Right. What they described it as being like a parallel storyline, and there wouldn't be like any in-game cinemas while you're playing it. But as you're playing through these different missions, you'll unlock cinemas and stuff where you can actually go back out to a main menu screen and access it and get a little more extra to the story.
I think it sounds kind of lame. I hear it's gonna be more like written text type stuff. You know, I don't think it's gonna be a fully fleshed out cutscene. But you know, there's some logic behind that. But anyway, like I really dug the gameplay though. So you know, you have like 8 players, you have 3 classes, and they just really like they really complement each other.
We are using it to develop an advanced stalker prototype. Objective is to infiltrate the construction yard and destroy the prototype. They're guarding the entrance with patrol drones. Take out the drones before they can find any more hunters.
So yeah, you have the tank-like soldiers who have this like big like honeycomb like shield in front of them.
Right, but they kind of look like the soldiers, or not soldiers. They look kind of like the heavies from Team Fortress, not physically, but the fact that they're hauling on this big chain gun.
The minigun, yeah.
And they have the ability, you know, that, like you said, to have this shield that then protects them. And when you see footage of the game in motion, if you're not playing it, you might think everyone's just kind of like bundled up together, not really doing anything strategic, just shooting everybody. But it is really interesting when you come into like tight areas and you have to push through. You'll have the soldiers go through first with their shield. You'll have Spec Ops, one of the other guys that just basically gives people ammo and like refills their shield, come up behind and like continually giving everyone ammo and refilling their shield. Then the medic, of course, healing everybody. And the cool thing is you can shoot through the back of the shield. So you can use that to slowly move forward and take out all of the enemies. You'll have different waves of enemies come up at you, and then you'll have several like mini bosses that you have to go through.
Right.
And the mini bosses, you know, they're powered up enemies. They may be like big mechanical guys.
I love
Just
those
when we
guys.
were
They're
playing
big like
against.
hulking beasts, and like they look intimidating, and then like they take probably like thousands of hits of damage. You know, you're just pumping them full. Like the Spec Ops guys have a powerful gun, and the soldiers do too. So they're just constantly hitting them.
Right, and I was doing Spec Ops, so the whole time I was going around the corner is I would shoot as much as I could, but then on top of like everyone's head, you have this triangle, and it goes from green to yellow to orange, and it lets you know how their ammo is.
Yep.
So when it goes to yellow, they're getting kind of lower, and orange, obviously they need ammo right away, and that means the soldiers' shields will drop. And I was running through shooting, and then when I see like stuff dropping, I'd run over and throw ammo at their feet and like refill everything. And you really do have to work together as a team.
These missions, they're long. In like, okay, so they're randomly generated. The Insomniac group that went before us, they actually died. You know, they played for a good 20 minutes and they ended up dying.
Right.
And then like we ended up dying like probably 15 minutes into ours. And it's just because there's so many enemies. We're just like coming like charging at you, almost like a kamikaze type. I walked too far out, then like a swarm of them came from both sides. They ripped me apart, and then like I got the little the egg timer above my head there.
Right.
And that the respawn is pretty cool because if you die, like anybody can revive you, not just the medics.
Right.
And like it just has like what, a 30-second timer or so.
Right, but if they revive you, if they actively are reviving you, you come back earlier.
Pop back up, and that's vital.
And it was fun like playing because you'd have guys yelling out for ammo, yelling out to be healed.
Yeah, you're like, like you
Yeah,
kept hearing that, and it was like an extended war of attrition, just like slowly making progress, staying behind that soldier, and when it was working, like it was really cool, and it was really satisfying to see one of the big guys just explode because you're like, wow, like we took him out. He's like just a huge target, and like you're all working together.
You can level up your character with new kits and outfits, stuff like that, and you gain XP in every single mode, not just co-op, not just multiplayer, but also in single player, and all that stuff carries over into a pool that you can use to upgrade your character.
Yeah, they were saying like, and if you get experience in all 3 modes, like your overall rank goes up faster. You know, they're kind of encouraging you to try all of them.
And I think that's like the first time any game's really done that. So I guess we also got to play 2 whole single player levels, both Iceland and Auric, California, which is kind of a redwood forest.
Right around the corner. Yeah,
I know.
Right? Yeah, and I liked how in Iceland, you have this Goliath tank, like you kind of crash land and you see this gigantic tank.
Definitely seems kind of canned what he's doing when he's doing like your tripwires, you run over and suddenly he's stepping on a bridge as you're walking by. It would have been nice if it was a little more interactive, but yeah, visually it's stunning.
But what do you think about the other single player level?
Orc, like we'd seen screenshots of Orc before. It was like one of the first things they released earlier this year, and the difference between lighting from what we saw then to what you actually see in the game, like they've really added a whole lot of layers to it. You're part of a convoy and it gets taken out by these chimera, and you have to fight your way through it. So at the beginning of the level, it's really, really hazy, you can't see anything, and then as you make your way through, it slowly works its way out. You also run into what do they call, like the invisible chimera?
I think they're the chameleon.
Yeah, chameleons. You run into those guys as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of a little spooky, like it was hard to hear at the event, but like you hear their footsteps charging at you. You kind of turn and you see the predator shimmer of them, and you just kind of you shoot them with whatever. They're really weak, but if they hit you, they kill you in one. Yeah, they kill you instantly. the competitive multiplayer, which is I think harkens back more to the first one, where it's just like, you know, a big space, and you're just like, it's just really fast. Like people are just going around killing each other, trying to like activate beacons and like guard certain points.
Yeah, it's definitely frenetic, and these levels are huge. And we were playing like Chicago at night, the level we were playing, and it's multiple levels. You have these lifts that will shoot you right to the top of a building, and you can like take guys from above. You know, it's definitely a fast pace of play, but it's definitely more manageable than it was in the first game.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels a lot tighter than the first game, which always to me felt like a really twitchy PC game, like shoehorned onto a PS3. But this one, you can really tell they probably were working on the PS3 for the whole time, and it just feels really good, despite their admitted like running out of buttons to use and having the grenade on like an inconvenient button.
Right.
But I mean, everything feels good. Yeah, and did you use many of the berserks, like the power-ups? Because like, I played quite a few rounds of that, and when I got used to it, it's pretty cool. You know, you can like, you pick like your weapon and loadout, and then you pick like which power up you want, and I think they had 5 available at the time. And so you can do like have like a regeneration zone around you, so you see like blue like dots just pop up all around. So and you and your teammates are in there, you regenerate.
And you can switch those up every time you spawn. Yeah, you can switch the weapon you spawn with. You can switch the berserker as well.
Yeah, just like Call of Duty 4.
But I gotta say, like, one thing that I found like really annoying in multiplayer is the fact that it seemed like every time I was even near anything on fire, I would catch on fire.
Right.
And I gotta say, like, I didn't immediately know that I was on fire. Right. And there's, you know, I didn't think the fact that apparently the only way you can put the fire out was to shake the controller, the 6-axis. Yeah. But like, I don't think to stop, drop, and roll on a video game. Like, I'm just trying to shoot people. One of your asshole teammates catches on fire, he just decides to run through. He sets everybody on fire that he runs by.
I swear, grass on fire. All coated in gasoline or something. Like you just go right up. You know, each facet. You know, co-op, competitive, and single player. I could see myself sinking a lot of time in each. You know. And that's just a huge value. And just like Call of Duty, it's gonna get you addicted. You're gonna keep going back. And you know, it seems like they got something pretty good going on there.
Hey, it's Michael Donahoe here. I just pulled up in my Lamborghini to interview some actress or something. Hey, what's her name? Who are we interviewing?
Maggie Q.
Maggie Q, that's right. Because everyone cares about Maggie Q. Look at this car. Check out this Audi. That is fucking hot. Oh man! Oh shit! Check out this fucking Jeep over here, dude! Oh, dude, get out of the way, dude. Oh my god, look at this Jeep! Shit! It's got manual drive. Look at the wheels on this baby. It must have 50-inch rims. This is one cool car. If I've ever seen one. I've seen many cars in my day. DeLorean ain't got nothing on this baby. I'm gonna go back in time. Yeah, so I'm waiting here to interview Maggie Q, who's in the new Need for Speed, and I'm really excited because I really feel like, you know, there's gonna be a lot of interviews out on the internet, and you might see a lot of questions asked, but I think the questions I'm holding in my hand right now, I think these questions are quite possibly the best questions you will ever hear asked to a woman named Maggie Q. I'm just saying. You might see some other ones, but they're gonna be shitty. Sorry. Hey, I'm Michael Donahoe here with OneUp.com, and I'm here with Maggie Q. And so, you're in the new game, Need for Speed Undercover. So my first question is, what's your favorite color?
What's my favorite color? Red.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a great color. Yeah. Do you know what my favorite color is?
No.
It's blue.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mine was blue when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
I like to think I've evolved a little.
That's cool.
Into a woman color.
You're not the first actress / model to be in Need for Speed. Crystal Forscutt and Sayoko Ohashi were in the last Need for Speed Pro Street. And so a lot of gamers think that they really raised the bar in terms of like this kind of involvement in terms of like actresses in the game. So like, how do you expect to top their performance?
I haven't seen their performance. I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, it's amazing.
So I just kind of do my job. You know what I mean? There's no topping.
Did you do any like method acting to prepare for this? Like maybe like lock yourself in a car for like 30 days or anything like that?
No, but interesting. I'm sure somebody might one day. It's pretty straightforward, this character. I mean, she's a strong woman, sort of heavy hitting and very serious, and she knows what she's doing. There's a lot to her that you won't know unless you're good at the game.
That's gonna be bad because I'm really bad at the game. So there's no way I'm gonna see it. This is awful. So I'm gonna do like a little word association. So I'm gonna do a word or a phrase, and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
So the first word is Toyota Supra.
Toyota Supra? Japanese.
Okay, supercharged.
Supercharged. Nothing comes to mind. Sorry, nothing comes to mind when you say supercharged.
That's actually the correct answer. High gas prices.
Unbelievable.
Undercover.
Exciting.
Balls of fury.
Balls.
And date with me.
Balls.
It's also the correct answer. So, my sister is actually an aspiring video game model / person to be put into a video game involving cars. And so, do you have any advice for her?
The stars have to be aligned. I think that's sort of what happened.
I have a picture of her. I just thought maybe take a look at her. So that's a picture.
Your sister? You. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's really.
She looks a lot like you.
Well, we're kind of like, similar
Really
face.
nice chest too. Nicer than mine. Maybe she will make it.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, if not, maybe she'll do stamps because
she's a hot stamp.
I figured it was going to control like most first-person shooters, but it's totally different in terms of the control and in terms of what you do in the game. It's like
the controls are that different. I mean, you have a fall button where you wouldn't normally, but
yeah, but they're also placed in a different spot on the controller where you would ordinarily have those commands. Like
you don't have like a jump.
The X button
per
is
se.
not jump. You know,
you
like
have a jump button. Yes, up is jump, but it can also mean like. It's things you're not used to in first person, like running across a wall, like Prince of Persia style. Even though you're exploring relatively complex environments sometimes, that simple up or down always makes sense. Whether it's like taking 2 steps and hopping over a ledge, or running across a wall, or ducking under a pipe, then it is like intuitive after like 5-10 minutes.
This is like probably the only game in the past like 10 years where I'm like, I actually need to play through the tutorial.
Right.
Like I need to get a feel for, pressing shoulder buttons where I would normally press X or A or whatever. So it's going to take some adjustment for some people to get used to that control scheme.
And especially some of the more complex moves. You can hop up on a wall and do like a Prince of Persia wall run, but then if you hit the R1 button, you do a 180-degree turn, and then you can jump after that and hit another wall, and then you could like 180-degree turn again and jump off that wall. You have to learn that you can kind of buffer the movements like you would in a fighting game, rather than try to like wait for the precise moment when you hit the wall to jump off of it. So I think it's actually easier than you would expect it to be. So at first it's hard because you're compensating for this thing that you don't need to compensate for.
That bird ain't playing around. Get your ass to the CEC News building. I'm finding you a way out.
There was a lot of time that I was running through and I found myself running upstairs, and I realized, man, the next time I play through this game, once I know the controls and I know what I'm doing, I'm not gonna be using the stairs. I'm gonna be running up the walls and going over this other thing. Like I felt like a runner who didn't really know how to run properly yet, you know what I mean? The learning curve's not that long. You're gonna be able to play it, right away. You'll just get better at it as you go along. the game has been sold as like a sort of non-combat game from the beginning, but after having played it in practice, it actually works really well, I've found, and that to me is like one of the most engaging parts of the game. The mechanics, there are enough buttons to press at any given moment just in moving around the environment that I never feel like, you know, it's like the opposite of Assassin's Creed or something like that, where you're just holding down some things and you move through the space.
It's not just a first-person game. It's also basically like a platformer.
Right. It is a platformer. I think it might end up being the best platformer since like Crackdown, which was another game that most people probably wouldn't have thought was a platformer, but I think really was, especially by the time you got to the third main area.
Well, it's part platform, part racing game too.
Yeah,
it's like, especially with the time trials. Like I think the longevity of this game is going to come from the racing aspect, not the platforming.
When I went up there for the cover story, I actually straight up to ask them, is this basically like a racing game to you guys? And they're like, no, not really, it's an action game or whatever. Then we did the time trial stuff, and they're like, yeah, it's a racing game. Seeing the little things that they would do to just like shave off like even just like 0.2 of a second was amazing. And yeah, I think that's actually going to be a really huge part of the game.
It's funny they used the word exploration before, because I feel like there's not that much exploration. You're kind of, most of the time being chased through or pushed forward through a space. You've got a button, the circle button on PlayStation 3, that kind of just points your vision to where the direction in general that you're supposed to be going. And at that point, you just book it as fast as you can in that direction. And in the times when the game does kind of slow down and let you explore, so far the environments that you've been in that time haven't been that exploration friendly, I guess.
I think the game is at its best when it's moving quickly, when you have the momentum, and that's when everything kind of works too, because it's like you're doing things that even like in a third-person game would seem complicated watching them, but you're doing them on your first try with only 2 buttons, like getting away in the chase, and then it's really exciting. But yeah, when things slow down, like I found it a bit less interesting trying to kind of look around the environment for where to go next as opposed to just doing it. That's when I liked it the most, was all those chase segments, and I hope that like the entire game finds new ways to make that interesting.
You do essentially go on a set path, but within that path there are like little shortcuts here and there and stuff.
Like with the storm drains, they were describing it as like, okay, this is your normal path, this is what most people will see, but then if you go over to the right side, this is the more difficult path.
There was one point where I jumped across to this building and the game wanted me to go like a totally different way, and I turned around and I'm like, wait, where am I? And I saw the red. The red is like the indicator for where you can go, where this is where you should jump off of, whatever. I turned around and said, oh, it's all the way over there, but I went this way instead. And I thought that was pretty cool, given that, yeah, you are essentially going along the set path.
The red objects never really felt like it was leading me in a bad way, like it wasn't telling me where to go. It was usually just confirming that I was going the right way, because the things turn red when you get near them, and that kind of confirms it. But I found it also like I had to like second guess myself if I'd go in a path which felt right, and I'm like, wait, nothing's turning red. Am I going the right way?
Right.
So there was some of that like indecision that I had, but I like it because it's open. It's more open-ended than I thought it was going to be.
In the few times that I've been inside a building in the game, there's no one around at all, and there's no one in the cities at all except for police officers and your fellow runners.
When you fall down to street level, like when you die, you see people for a split second walking on the sidewalks, and that was kind of exciting for me. And I almost wish that when you were going through these office environments, that you were kind of like sometimes interrupting like a work day, and that there were people kind of like, whoa, and
hopping out of your way.
Which that's something I hope that they incorporate at some point into the game.
Yeah, I wonder if like your other runners will come into play more, because I mean we saw that one, I think her name is Celeste, who kind of helps you out in the tutorial. She and presumably others are going to come up later in the game that'll be kind of on your side.
And
so
I'm also guessing that there would be enemies that are as mobile as you are, which I think would be cool.
I almost wouldn't want that, just because the reason why I like the character is because she's like this super agile ninja like girl or whatever, and that's what kind of makes her special. If like a regular enemy in the game basically comes along and is able to do those same things, it kind of just, it's like, eh.
That was something I felt was really missing in Crackdown, for instance. You were just shooting normal like mafia thugs and they'd die easily. So I don't want regular enemies, but I think having like maybe a boss that can chase you, I think suddenly that threat that something is as mobile as you are is a lot different than just fighting foot soldiers that you can easily get away from most of the time.
One of the things that they talked about when I went up there also for their cover story was that they needed like a proof of concept thing for EA just to prove to everybody, you know, that they could do this like really cool like parkour inspired action game. They said, you know, they went around, they showed it to everybody, and like almost instantly everybody got it, and they're like, oh wow, this is like a really cool idea.
Sticking in your pocket and pulling out and like using it whenever you want. It's not that you're picking up enemy guns and just trying to get through without any weapons. So it's definitely they've changed it since then.
And I think they did a good job of sprucing it up and making it look like a modern game in terms of, you know, the presentation, the graphics, the character, and all that, without really sacrificing what made the target video so impressive.
Talking to those guys at DICE, I mean, a lot of them, they don't seem burned out on Battlefield. Like they love making those games. But I could see as like someone who wants to create something new and fresh, like you just kind of get tired of guns and tanks and jeeps all the time. So to have those guys be able to have an outlet to kind of push this other creative energy they have is really, really cool. And I'm actually really happy that EA let them do it. Because I mean, it's easy for them to just be like, go make another Battlefield and have it sell 2 million copies.
And to be honest, I mean, they're already doing that anyway. They're working on Battlefield Heroes, and they just finished Bad Company. So it's not like the world is going without Battlefield games.
It also really makes me want to see other like similar things where one developer known for one genre and franchise goes and makes something totally different. Like I think like what we saw, but like when Criterion made Black, it was like, wow, that's just cool. It's different. Like I'd like to see like Infinity Ward make something drastically different.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go make a racing game.
Dude, so what'd you think?
What was it?
Have you been watching the video?
Yeah, dude, it was great, man. It was great. Can I borrow this? I gotta go to the bathroom. I just, you know, a couple minutes. I just gotta read about these broad descriptions.
Go for it, dude. You brought it over here. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I didn't, man. This is your address. Come on, dude.
Enjoy yourself.
I have more foreign policy experience than Palin does.
Dude, no, you have the same amount of foreign policy experience.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
What are you working on there, buddy?
This is a Maggie Q interview.
Oh, how'd that go? Is it done?
Oh man, I think it came out really well.
Show us.
Alright.
Just pulled up in my Lamborghini. That is fucking high. Oh man.
Unbelievable.
Lock yourself in a car.
Exciting. Exciting.
Balls of fury. Date with me.
Exciting. Balls.
That is fucking high. Oh man. Awkward.